Matt Halseth, and he's got a particular way that he likes to rig his beads. So I want to just have him kind of show an example of how he likes to rig his beads above the hook. So show me what you do here, Matt.
All right, so I have all my leaders cut to the proper lengths that I like. So say I'm fishing a single bead. This is about a 40-inch leader when all's said and done. We got some low water conditions right now, and a lot of times I like to run a single, and 40 is about right, 40, 36 for a double bead rig. So basically what I do is I start off and I use a size 1 hook. It's got a little bit different bend to it.
What kind of hook is that?
That is a VMC. It started out as a bass hook. We started using them for steelhead.
Drop shot hook?
Drop shot hook, yep. They really hang on to fish. They don't hang up on the bottom very bad. And they're super strong. So I like to use 12-pound leader. This is fluorocarbon. STS. Got some right here. Okay. So that's my go-to. Basically I start out with your basic egg loop, just because it's a really good strong knot. The eye on these hooks is tipped up a little bit, so it just makes it easy. It's a habit knot for me. I tie it on basically everything. So I'm gonna start out and go through the eye. I'm gonna go around about 12 times. And then, because I can use this also for bait if I want to eliminate the bead and just fish bait. Pull that through, and then because it's fluorocarbon, heats up 400 times faster than monofilament. So I like to give a little bit of lube there and pull tight. And then, so there's my bead leader. So I fish this lake and stream. This is what I tie all my bead knots with. And the nice thing about it is, if I'm sitting down just tying, I can...
what pound test is that?
This is 40 pounds.
So it's pretty stiff.
Pretty stiff. I can uncoil a whole bunch of it. And it just so happens that those coils are the exact length that I need to make my bead stop knots. So this bead stop with a monofilament stopper works on every bead. You know, there's all kinds of stoppers out there. This is a cheap one. It's about $2 for 150 yards of line. I don't know how many stoppers that makes, but it makes a lot of them. And it's something usually we have 40-pound line on hand all the time. You know, if you fish a lot and you fish salmon and everything else, it's easy to get. It's on the bottom shelf at most tackle stores like Weimar or Sportsman's or stuff like that. So my bead stop knot's easy. I start out, got my line. I make a loop, go over my line, go through 1, 2, 3 times, pull it tight. I use a pair of pliers and I leave a nice tag on it. Use my teeth, pull that tight. Just so happens these pliers are kind of sharp on the end, so it sometimes cuts the knot right where you want it, or the line right where you want it above the knot. And then I come in here, trim that short.
So you leave a little bit of the tag end on the top and trim it short on the bottom.
Yep, a little short on the bottom. And if you look at that bottom of the knot, the line comes out in right alongside this line. That one kicks out at an angle, so that one's gonna support our bead. If I fish a big bead like this one,
that's a soft plastic bead.
That's a soft bead. This is a lured bead. I can just take my hook. This is a giant lured bead. I think it's a 16 or 20. Just take my hook. You know, I'm very minimal on tools. Go right through. I can fish that.
So you don't need a needle to thread that. You just go right over the hook.
Yep.
Straight over the knot.
Exactly. And I fish all my leaders with a Dunkin Loop on the end, which I can show at another time. But if I want to change beads, okay, say I don't want that giant bead, I want a little one, I can grab a smaller one, use my hook to go through. I can change it on the fly. I can change it in between passes through my favorite drift. You know, it goes right up there. It sits on the stopper. Sometimes they pull over. I've never found a stopper a bead doesn't pull over. One advantage of this is I can take my hard beads. I can use one stopper for all my bead needs. This thing, and it stays there. We've gone away from the toothpicks, you know, all that stuff. Free sliding beads seem to catch more fish because that bead kind of rolls around down there and bounces around. It grabs good enough that I can adjust it down closer to using a small bead. I can pull it up higher for using a bigger bead, so we have that clearance between the bead and the hook, and it grabs the fish. So that's the way I do it, and that's the finished product when it comes out. Just like that. I use it on all of them.
So this is a really economical way of doing it. And anybody, you know, can do this with cheap line. And even if you fish another way, if you use, you know, the B&R T-stops, or if you use bobber stops or something like that, you know, you might run out. So this is just a really good thing to know. Even if this is not the way you fish, it's a good thing to know if you find yourself in a situation where not having to stop might end your day. You don't know how to do this.
And the other thing is, like, if you have a T-stop, you can trim this short. You can take your T-stop. I'll use a red one here. You can slide it down. And instead of tying a knot in your line, you've tied a knot around your line, but this will help support your T-stop if you're ripping through, like, you know, or your T-stop sliding around if you're using a fluorocarbon. So it's just another way to kind of do it. I don't have any B&R beads that have the holes in them right on hand, but that's another way to use the T-stop and keep this T-stop from sliding. For my leader ends, when I'm running a double leader for my dropper hooks, I like a Dunkin Loop. I tie all my leaders with them. So what that is I take the line, I double it over, I go around, go about 4 times, 2, 3, 4, makes a nice knot. I pull it tight, and that knot allows me to pull tight around the shank of a hook. And if I want to, if I don't pull it too tight, I can undo it, and then also change beads. Most hard beads and the soft beads with holes in them, I can pinch the end of the Dunkin down. I can go through, and we're able to switch our beads out on the fly, different colors. You know, just one of those little things I do that saves me time on the water, and I'm not double tying a whole bunch of tackle all the time. So it's just one of my little tricks that keeps my lines in the water more often than not.
You get a frayed up leader, you can just pull it off, throw another one on. Change out real fast. Yeah,
and a lot of times, so even when this is on, say I put it on the hook, pull it tight, I break it off. You know, sometimes I'll cut them all the way off, or if you're in a spot where you're in the drift boat, guys on the oars, you can't miss these pockets. You know, I'll just leave it'll break close. I'll just leave the whiskers on there. The fish will still grab it. Doesn't deter fish. So it's a cool little, I slid it back open there. It's a cool little knot to learn, just to keep lots and lots of time in the water, putting more fish in the bag.
Right on. So, thanks, Matt.
Yep.
And if you pick up this book, all these knots and all these different things are in here. So there's illustrations that show how to do this and different applications and uses for it. So check out the Bead Bible at AmatoBooks.com and give Matt Halseth a call if you want to come out and catch some fish.
Find me on Facebook, Matt Halseth Guide Service. My number's 971-209-5308 or Matt Halseth Guide Service at gmail.com. Hit me up, we'll go catch some fish.
Right on. Thanks, Matt.
Thank you, Randy.
Appreciate it.